Welcome to the Haunted Mind of Jana, the place where we dive into some of the creepiest paranormal stories, haunted locations, and unexplained mysteries from around the world. If you enjoy spooky stories like this one, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that little notification button so you're notified every time I post. Now, let's get into today's nightmare. Today, I'll be talking about something that happened to me. Whether what happened that night has a perfectly logical explanation, or whether it was something else entirely, I genuinely don't know. I'm not going to tell you it was a ghost. I'm not here to convince you that the woods are haunted. I'm just going to tell you exactly what happened and exactly how I remember it. And you can decide for yourself. To understand my story, I need to tell you a little bit about where it happened. My grandparents live in a tiny village in Latvia. When I say tiny, I mean really tiny. You could probably circle the entire village in around 2 hours. There aren't any supermarkets or restaurants or rows of shops. In fact, there is only one little shop in the entire village, and it's inside one of the apartment blocks. There are a couple other buildings that are used as the local council office, a post office, and a youth club for the children of the village. That's about it. Everyone knows everyone, and if somebody new showed up, people would immediately notice. It's one of those villages where you grow up knowing every neighbour, every family, and every dog. During the winter, most people don't even have central heating. Instead, families collect and chop firewood to keep their homes warm. It's beautiful, it's peaceful, but it's also surrounded by endless woodland. Those woods have been there for generations, and the area has a lot of history. I've been told that during World War II there was a Nazi base somewhere nearby. I've never properly researched the history myself, so I don't know exactly what happened there, but it's something I've always found interesting considering what happened later. This story happened when I was around 20 years old. I was staying with my grandparents during a trip to Latvia. One evening, I was sitting around the house feeling bored. It was late, but I wasn't tired, so I decided to take my mum's dog Sky out for a walk. Sky wasn't a tiny dog. Sky was a Boxer and Staffordshire Bull Terrier mix. She was strong, very strong. If Sky decided she wanted to go somewhere, you were going with her whether you liked it or not. So, I clipped her lead on, walked outside and started heading through the village. Everything felt completely normal. The weather was calm, the village was quiet. There wasn't many people around, but honestly, that wasn't unusual. The walk took us through the woods and around a nearby river. I walked that route plenty of times before. Nothing about it felt strange. If anything, it was relaxing. The only sounds were birds, the wind moving through the trees, and Sky happily sniffing absolutely everything she could find. Eventually, I noticed that the sun began disappearing behind the trees. The light was changing. It wasn't completely dark, but it was definitely getting to the point where you think I should probably get back home now. So that's exactly what I did. I turned around and started walking back through the woods, and that's when I heard it. A snap. It sounded exactly like a branch breaking. Not somewhere far away. Close. Close enough that it immediately made me stop walking. The strange thing was, Sky stopped too. She froze. She wasn't pulling on the lead anymore. She wasn't sniffing around. She was completely still. I remember looking behind me, then looking to my left, then to my right. I looked between the trees and further down the path, and there was nobody there. No people, no cyclists, no one walking their dog, not even an animal that I could see. For a few seconds, everything was silent. No birds, no movement, nothing. I remember standing there thinking I'd imagined it. Maybe a branch had fallen somewhere. This time, it sounded like it was right behind me. Before I even had time to react, Sky reacted for me. She bolted. She didn't hesitate. She didn't bark. She just ran. She pulled so hard on the lead that I had no choice but to run after her. It honestly felt like she wanted to get as far away from whatever she'd heard as possible. And while I was running, I kept looking behind me. Again, and again, and again. Every single time, nothing. No person, no animal, nothing chasing us. Just the path disappearing into the trees. That almost made it worse, because if something had been there, at least I'd have an explanation. Instead, there was absolutely nothing. Sky didn't stop running until we were almost back at my grandparents' house. When we finally got inside, I remember shutting the door and trying to calm myself down. I kept thinking there was a logical explanation. Maybe there really had been an animal. Maybe it had run away before I could see it. Maybe Sky's hearing picked up something mine couldn't. Dogs hear things we can't. They smell things we can't. So maybe there was a completely normal reason she reacted the way she did. I wasn't the first person to have a strange experience in those woods. A different night, my brother was outside with some of his friends and my ex. They were playing hide and seek in the village. It was something everyone did growing up, because there wasn't exactly very much else to do. At some point during the game, every single one of them noticed something standing in the distance. And I want to be really clear here. This wasn't something I witnessed myself. This is how they described it to me afterwards. They all described seeing an incredibly tall figure, around maybe 7 feet tall, maybe even taller. They said it didn't look like a normal person. They couldn't make out a face. It was unnaturally thin. The closest comparison they could think of was that it looked like Slenderman. Now, whether that's actually what they saw, I have no idea. There could always be a perfectly normal explanation. But what I always found interesting was that they all described seeing the same thing. Not one person, all of them. And instead of investigating, every single one of them turned around and ran back inside. Whatever they saw, it scared them enough that none of them wanted to find out what it was. To this day, I still don't know what happened during my walk with Sky. Maybe there was a deer. Maybe another animal. Maybe there was someone in the woods that I never saw. Or maybe there was something out there that night. I don't know. What I do know is Sky heard something. She froze before I did. She reacted before I did. And I've never seen her behave like that before or since. So now I want to hear from you. What do you think happened that night? Do you think there's a perfectly logical explanation? Or do you think something else was hiding in those woods? Let me know your own thoughts and theories down in the comments. And if you've ever had a paranormal experience of your own, feel free to share that too. Who knows? Maybe I'll feature some of your stories in a future video. If you enjoyed today's story, don't forget to like, subscribe if you're new, and turn on those notifications so you never miss an upload. Until next time, stay spooky, my friends.